in now. So we're live. As far as it just doesn't know how to talk anymore. Hello?
Hi.
Oh,
Sorry about that. Sorry for the delay of the show, but it was Rob's fault, and we're not going to get into why. But he's the reason why for our tardiness. So, welcome to the very late edition of the GTHub podcast this week. But we'll start today with some late news that we didn't get to break last week because of our show running a bit long. So we'll get to that housekeeping right now, which was the the announcement that the Ford Mustang is going to be the global platform for Ford going forward, because they use it as their GT4 car. And starting next season, it will be the car for Ford Performance and Ford Australia in the Virgin Australia's Supercars Championship. And in the NASCAR Cup Series, they will also be using the Mustang to replace the Fusion. So Ford is going Mustang mad at the moment. And that was one bit of news. The GRC news will be covered at a later date at its own standalone special because it needs an in-depth dive there. And with that housekeeping done, I will now bring in Rob to possibly mention what he was doing over the weekend.
Bonjour, ça va?
Jesus Christ.
Speaking French, apparently.
Yes, but more on why I am speaking in French later on.
I said now, but okay, since you're great at following directions, well done, you.
Thank you. Yes, there was a race at the weekend at Navarra for the 24H series.
Was there?
That's a question, was there?
Yes, there was. It did happen.
If you say so.
If you say so. None of us watched it, so yeah.
If we don't watch it, it's not happening. It didn't happen.
If a Navarra race if a Graventic race happens and no one on GTHub watches it, does it make a sound?
Because not even Rob watched it.
Yes, but then again, I was quite busy at the time producing content.
You had to watch it. You were making the content. Yeah, so... But anyway, that happened. I don't even know who won, actually, in fact.
It was the Scuderia Praha Ferrari.
Of course.
Yuri Pizarek, Joseph Kral, and Matteo Malucelli, from memory.
So predictable win.
Good memory.
I say from memory because I can't remember if it's what Pisarek's first name is. So, but yeah, it was not very many Code 60s at Navarra, but then again, there wasn't very many cars because it was just the GT series racing there.
There wasn't many Code 60s, so then again, there wasn't that many cars to have incidents in the first place. If all of them got involved in a crash, there wouldn't be a field.
Wasn't there supposed to be like prototypes as well?
Yeah.
Yes, there was meant to be prototypes.
But
none showed up again.
Also nothing new.
Yes, indeed.
Yes, the Graventic 12-hour proto series, i.e. the prototype series that doesn't exist because no prototypes show up. Yeah, I don't understand that series. Anyway, no point in spending more time on that because kind of pointless, really.
Yes, and moving on, what we got next, Forza?
Ah, yes. Well, we have the Blancpain GT Series Endurance Cup race from Monza.
I still haven't seen that yet.
Yes, well, you saw some of the race, but I'll start with the qualifying race, and not the qualifying race, the qualifying, because I'm smart. That ended up with the new format for this season of basically copying the WC, which was putting all their drivers in and combining the time to get an average, and that ended up with the number 72 SMP Racing Ferrari on pole with a 1:48.311 second lap, and the day of qualifying had a very surprised top of the field, with the second overall time coming from the number 54 Emil Frey Jaguar, and being on Silver Cup pole. Also, in the top three was the number 1 Team WRT Audi, and showing well was also the Rider Engineering Lamborghini, which is a Gallardo REX of their own making. And apparently Monza is a track for old cars, and the BOP is friendly towards older cars at Monza, it would seem. Because that pace would be seen throughout the race, actually.
Yes.
And yeah, thank you. I was like, is everyone still there? I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I've just muted myself because, well, I'm not really going to be adding anything insightful or useful, or indeed anything ending in full.
Neither will I, but I kind of saw the race, so I have to.
Well, I hope so. It had a GRT car in it. Well, several, actually.
Yes. 3.
3, to be exact. Yeah. The 19, the 63, and the 82?
Yeah. You're correct.
Pulling that from my memory. Yes!
You're so smart.
Got it right.
Good memory.
I am smart. I was going, what are the numbers? Yeah, exactly. Anyway, the race was eventful for the full 3 hours at the Autodromo Nazionale Monza. And, like I said, the old cars shined throughout the day, with the Emil Frey Jag running pretty much second overall all day long, before running into some minor issues. And the Rider Engineering car was 4th at points throughout the race, before it had issues in the pits and dropped it out of contention with a drive-through penalty, because its onboard jacks failed when it was stopping. So they were refueling with the car on the ground, so that earned it a penalty. So that dropped it down the finish line. However, it was still the quickest Lamborghini on outright pace, apparently, because even the Huracans couldn't match the Super Trofeos around Monza, but the old Gallardo could somehow. Funny how that works.
Yeah, it seems like to be the contender of the Lamborghinis that you think they would be. It would seem that they had some issues with the balance of performance, I'd say, but some argue about that.
Well, apparently the Lamborghinis had pre-race BOP to them, so I don't know what it was, but yeah, all weekend they seemed to be off the pace. Other than when they put in, of course, Mirko Bortolotti, but you know, he's the unfair balance of performance guy.
Yeah. Even he had trouble, to be fair.
That's true.
In fact, I've just found an article online about the BOP change for the GRT Lamborghinis, and Gottfried Grasser was not impressed at all, to be honest.
What did he say?
Well, they were given an extra 15 kilo of ballast after pre-qualifying, in addition to the 35 kilo weight increase over the base weight of 1,230 kilo.
Who would be?
Grasser said in the team's post-race press release, and I quote, "Now we're being punished for our hard work during the winter and some 14 days of testing in preparation for the 2018 season. In order to get to grips with the new tyres, we racked up countless miles in testing and acquired and compared a huge amount of data. When this is now the, in quotation marks, reward by the organisers in order to slowing us down, we will probably do without such expensive preparation in 2019 and rather go skiing to get ready for the 2019 season."
Damn!
Yes. In fact, the BOP adjustment is permitted under Article 101 of the sporting regulations, which say, and I quote, "The SRO Technical Board reserves the right to adjust the balance of performance until 120 minutes, 2 hours, before the start of the race."
Wow. Okay, then.
While I don't disagree with balance of performance, I think it was too much of a punishment for them.
The SRO have since clarified the reason for the BOP change. It was literally this afternoon they done that. The statement from the organisation said that the additional 15 kilograms was applied, and I quote, "to correct an increase in engine power output recorded during the free practice sessions."
Huh. Sorry, read that again.
Oh god, I've got to reload it now.
Don't close it.
Don't close it.
Yes,
Jesus.
Yes, they clarified the BOP change was not as a result of Grasser's recent success, but because of the Lamborghini's pace during free practice. SRO said in a statement this afternoon that the additional 15 kilogram handicap was applied to, and I quote, "correct an increase in engine power output recorded during the free practice sessions." It stated that data from the free practice sessions showed that engine power output levels on several Huracan GT3s were higher than those shown during the balance performance tests.
The thing is,
I know what this is. This is that thing that happened in IMSA at Daytona. Remember what happened then?
Oh yes, was it to do with the Audis and the Lamborghinis both running some slightly
out of BOP parts, yes. Except it wasn't the Audis. Audi had found unhomologated parts and had notified IMSA about it,
and then
Lamborghini
but
about
Lamborghini didn't.
But Lamborghini did not, yes.
And then got absolutely destroyed on BOP.
Post-race, yes.
Post-race. Yes.
I don't know, it's still dumb.
I've actually got the full statement up here.
About
the press release, the full press release from SRO.
Ooh.
And I'll read it out quickly. Following the press release issued by GRT Grasser Racing Team on Monday, 23rd of April 2018, SRO Motorsports Group wishes to make the following statement. The additional 15 kilograms of weight handicap applied to the Lamborghini Huracan cars for the Blancpain GT Series event at Monza on 20th of April 2018 was not imposed as a reaction against GRT Grasser Racing Team's success in previous races, but rather to correct an increase in engine power output recorded during the free practice sessions. Data collected after free practices 1 and 2 on a number of the Lamborghini Huracan cars, including those entered by GRT Grasser Racing Team, showed engine power output levels greater than those collected during the official balance performance BOP tests carried out by SRO Motorsports Group. As a result, the series technical director applied Article 101 of the Blancpain GT Series sporting regulations, allowing for a change of BOP at any time during a race meeting.
Yeah, but he still has 2 hours before the race to change the BOP, and free practice is literally first sessions of the weekend. And like, not to like be a fanboy or so shit, but compared to last year's performance from Grasser Racing, and then this year's qualifying results, it doesn't make sense. Or the Hurricanes in general, it's just like you can change it up to 2 hours before, and you just cripple them because you can.
I suppose the pre-BOP 4 race makes sense, but if they knew the qualifying, or if they knew there was an engine power issue before qualifying, surely they would have applied the BOP for qualifying, and then they wouldn't have to add the BOP before the race.
Because from what I understanding here is that the BOP was done, adjustment was done after the pre-qualifying session.
So it was done for qualifying.
Yes, it was
Okay.
for qualifying.
Got it. That makes a lot more sense. Okay.
So yes, that explains why GRT Gresser Racing Team were, well, not at the pointy end of the field.
Oh. Well, they were thereabouts.
Well, it's
they were on the
Gresser, what do
podium
you
at one
expect?
Yeah, they were on the podium at one point. Before getting past.
But a number 4 Mercedes, I think.
Yes. Moving back to the race, actually, because that brings us nicely to the thing, because BOP talk. Always exciting and fun. Yeah. But getting back to...
Nearly as fun and exciting as driver ratings.
I'd rather talk about driver rating.
Oh, please.
So
yeah, I'm not going to.
I was going to say, you'd rather have a repeat of last year's Christmas quiz.
I've seen it. I haven't seen it, I don't know.
Doesn't mean I want to.
Ah.
Yes.
Can be arranged if you want, Forza.
No. No. Going back to the race, however. Like I mentioned, the old cars were shining throughout. The Jag and the Gallardo from Ryder Engineering had problems. The series, the Endurance series, had debuts from the new Nissan GTR Nismo GT3 and the second generation Continental GT3 from Bentley. However, both ended, having showed promise in qualifying and in practice, both ended up with issues throughout the race and did not get the debuts they deserved. The number 23 was the new one, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, someone.
Aren't both new?
No, one of them's old, an old car, because that one was last year's car running in Pro-Am. One of them was the brand new 2018 car.
Oh, right, I was thinking about the Bentley, sorry.
No, both the Bentleys were.
But
well, the Bentleys that are running in M Sport colors are the brand new ones.
Yeah.
Team Parker Bentley is the
older
one.
That's what I was thinking about, sorry.
Which, oddly enough, was running better than the factory new cars, which was quite funny. It passed them at several points throughout the race and just went, "Oh look, the old car is going better than the new one." Yeah, that was funny. I think the 23 was the 2018.
I think so, yeah.
GTR, I believe so. Because that had Bunkum,
Matt Parry,
and
Luke Lavoie.
Yes, because the other car had Struan Moore in it. That was a Pro-Am car.
Yeah.
Struan Moore.
It was the 23.
Ricardo Sanchez, and yeah.
Thank you, Pigeon. It was a 23.
Thank you, Pigeon.
Yes. Hello, Pigeon. The 23 was an old new car, had problems. Drive shaft issues, I believe, with the carbon fiber drive shaft failing on that one, and the 22 had gearbox issues, I believe.
Both were in the pits at the same time at one point, even.
Yeah, that was a sad image when the the 23 went to the garage and went, "Oh, both the GTRs are out." Great. Sad day for the Nismo TV feed there. Yeah. Was it the 22 that was the... I'm just checking the results here to make sure. 23 was a new car, so the 22 was in Pro-Am. So that was indeed the last year's spec car. And, yeah, the new cars did not show well at all. They had pace, but results did not show well. However, we go to the front of the race, which ended up, like I said, the SMP Racing Ferrari, with Miguel Molina was on pole. It pretty much led the majority of the race until pit stops, and which they were caught by
It was, I think, Maxi Book in one of the Mercedes. Was it the Stracker?
Yeah.
Because I remember seeing
Was-
Book going around the outside of the SMP car at the Parabolica.
It was either the number 43 or the number 4 Mercedes. I believe it was a Stracker Mercedes.
I think so too, yeah.
But the 72 Ferrari had the pace all majority of the race before pit stops. After stops, there was a full course yellow for debris from the new Bentleys. That prevented, or that resulted in a full course yellow, so the marshals had to come on track to pick up the debris. And that actually fed into the point of the one of the points for the Emile Fry Jaguar, which was that on the restarts from the full course yellows, they lost positions because the team could not make radio contact with the driver to on when to restart. So they were gapped on both the full course yellow periods. So that happened to both Alex Fontana and Adrian Zaug. That pace ultimately resulted in them from dropping from second overall on the podium to ending up the race fifth overall, but still handily winning the Silver Cup class because they were the star of the field in that category. New class for this year as well, so sending off the old girl in style with winning a class there, running well overall as well. But after the stops, the number 1 Audi and the number 43 Mercedes are pretty much the stars of the race because the 72 Ferrari retired from the race for some unknown reason. They slowed and retired there. I think it was with 32 minutes ago, I think, was the decisive move for the lead overall between Dries Van Thor and Maximilian Gutz in the number 43 Straka car. Van Thor went around the outside, coming down the front straight to pass the Straka Mercedes. However, he would have to give the position back after going over the lines there on the inside. So he had to chase him back down again, and as he was trying to make the pass coming into the turn 1 chicane, the number 43 squeezed out Van Thor, and as a result, got a penalty from the stewards. And the stewards' decision was that the car 43, quote-unquote, did not leave at least one car width to the edge of the track when moving back to the racing line, having defended his position offline. So as a result, the 43 had to give the position back to the number 1, and so Stewart's decisions ended up reversing the running order. But overall, the number 1 Audi got in front because it was still going to pass the 43 on pace, because it was the quickest car. And, well, the number 1 won the race with Dries Van Thor, Alex Riberas, and Christopher Mies. So, well done to them after 3 hours of utter insanity around Monza.
Yeah. Also, we kind of had a repeat of last year's Monza race, in which the number 8 Bentley, I think, hit the number 19.
I'm sure someone out there would know which Bentley it was. Yeah.
Italy 708. Yeah, took out the number 19, like, lap 1, I think it was. I think.
Look at Pigeon being helpful. Thank you. It was the number 43 Straka.
Yeah, he should do this podcast instead of us.
I know, he's apparently more intuitive than us because we don't pay that much attention, really. Yeah, funny how that works.
Yeah, it was the number 19. Yeah, so a repeat of last year from the Bentley.
Bringing up bad memories for Pensa, my poor GRT.
Well, it was in general a bad race for them.
Well, it wasn't that bad. They had third position in their hands before being stolen away on the last minute.
Yeah, but so.
Literally the last minute.
Yeah. Engelhard performance this weekend, it's been questionable. I don't know if he personally was like not doing well, or if he just couldn't cope with the extra 15 kilos. Or extra, was it 15 total?
It was 15
well, it was
kilograms.
30, wasn't it?
Sorry?
Yeah, 15 kilos before the race, plus the BOP that added, what, 30 kilos on top of that?
I thought it was more than that.
35 and 15.
Ah,
pretty sure.
okay.
50 kilo it had.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's-
heavy boy.
Heavy boy. That's almost an entire... Well, it's actually not far off of me.
Yes.
Ah, so that's why you weren't watching. You were being the ballast in the cars. Ah,
Yeah, he just sat in the passenger seat on the
just sat in the
floor.
passenger well, yeah.
Yes, it was...
Didn't even give you a seat. They just stuck you in the passenger footwell. Just sit there.
Here, have a rope to hold on. You'll be fine.
most unpleasant and uncomfortable ride. I did consistently ask the drivers, can you stop hammering over the curbs to make the ride slightly more compliant, but no, the bastards weren't having it.
I think that achieved the opposite.
Yeah.
Made them angry, yes.
Yes.
Oh, you shut up there. I have to drive.
Yes, just to clarify, the reason why we're joking about this, I weigh personally about 57, 58, I think.
So just a little bit less than the BOP.
Yes, slightly less.
Wait.
I weigh slightly more
Although,
than Grasserad and
now
BOP.
on this weird train of thought, though, perhaps that's how we solve BOP problem. Not turbo boosts or anything else. We just add fans to the car. The cars.
That's a new version of fan boost.
More like fan stop. Yeah.
Fan stop.
Fan boost, fan unboost is what it is.
Or we just add
ballast.
fans
If
to
you get, like-
all of the cars, and then the cars who get it taken off, they get fan boosted. Something like that.
Ah, there we go, yeah. The most popular car is the lightest car. Everyone else who's not very popular gets a fan put in the side of the car.
That would mean having to weigh every single fan at the circuit, which at an event like Spa could take some precious amount of time.
Nah, just
he's-
weigh people before then. You there, come here. Put him on the scale. There you go.
Yeah.
Get in the car.
It's going to look like that. It's going to look like the scenes before the Best Motor International race, where they had to weigh all the drivers before they got into the bloody Daihatsu midgets. Just to balance the
wonderful.
cars up to equal, just to balance these crappy little K trucks up to the same weight, and they're like 33 horsepower, absolutely bloody terrible cars they were. But oh, it did make for a better race than, well, pretty much any Formula One race.
Don't let Josh hear that. He'll argue
He'll
with
cry.
you about
You'll
that.
make him cry.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
I
it's
don't think he's listening, so I could be wrong.
past his bedtime anyway.
Commentating on something, I think. Yeah, or it's past
Probably.
bedtime. Either one. But
Oh dear, that was brilliant.
yes, second overall was the number 43 Stracker Racing Mercedes AMG. To bring this back to results finally, so we can move on. Of Maximilian Buch, Alvaro Perez, and Maximilian Goetz, the Maximilian Mercedes. Third, on rounding out the podium, like I mentioned, stole the final podium spot out from under the 63 Lamborghini. Was the number 4 Mercedes AMG Team Black Falcon, team of Lucas Stoltz, Jelmer Berman, and Mauro Engel. Silver Cup went to the number 54 Emil Frey Jaguar Racing Jaguar G3 of Alex Fontana, Adrian Zaug, and Mikhail Grenier. Pro-Am Cup went to the 333 Rinaldi Racing Ferrari 488 GT3 of Renat Salakov, Alexander Matschul, and Dominic Schwager. And rounding out the classes was the Am Cup winner, that being the number 89 ACA ASP team, Mercedes AMG GT3 of some French guys that I cannot pronounce their names.
No, come on. You can do it.
Hold on.
Eric Debord, Fabien Barthez, and the third guy I cannot pronounce. Philippe Philippe? Is it Philippe?
I think it's probably Philippe, yeah.
Philippe, Giauque? Giauque? How do you pronounce that?
Jacques.
Jacques. Yeah, I would have thought Jacques personally, but...
Let's go with that.
Jacques.
Philippe Jacques. Yeah,
yes.
Sure.
Yes, because my pidgin French is even more shoddy than my pidgin German. Just saying something.
Not even speaking French, it's just a name I can't pronounce, yeah. But,
given that all the French I really know is parlez-vous anglais.
Je m'appelle Le Pomme.
Anyway, moving past your speaking French now. We move into the IndyCar race over the weekend, which was the Honda Indy Grand Prix of Alabama from Barber Motorsports Park in beautiful Birmingham, Alabama.
Oh,
You mean the IndyCar race of this week?
Yeah.
Well, it was more like the IndyCar race of 2 days, really. The 24 hours of the Honda Indy Grand Prix of Alabama, perhaps.
No, it was a powerboat race. Let's be honest, especially at the start.
No, that was Sunday.
That's what I said at the start.
Well, no, which start? There were 2 starts.
The actual proper race start on the Sunday.
So you mean day 1? Anyway.
Seemingly took an entire day, yeah.
Well, took a whole day, rained out, yeah. But Joseph Newgarden's Team Penske was on pole, ahead of Will Power. Continued Team Penske's dominance at the track of poles because, believe it or not, they've taken 8 out of the last 9 poles there at Barber. Sebastian Bourdais was 3rd. And the rest of the Firestone Fast 6 was Ryan Hunter-Reay in 4th, 5th was James Hinchcliffe, and 6th Scott Dixon. But heading into the race proper, it got moved up an hour before to avoid the, to try and avoid the heavy rain that was happening, forecast for the week there. And, well, it didn't really matter because rain was raining since the start of their flag, really. And Joseph Newgarden kind of pulled away from the starts and had to clear his track. Yeah, basically, in day 1 of the race. Will Power was 2nd, up until a point, really.
Yeah, day 1 of the Tour de Barber Motorsports Park.
Pretty much, yeah. That's really what it seemed like.
Yeah.
Joseph Newgarden was 1st and Will Power was 2nd for that running. However, he would not stay 2nd because when the first full course caution came out for an incident involving Ed Jones and Charlie Kimball.
Charlie Kimball, yeah.
That ended up putting Kimball onto the wall, and as he has problems, Charlie Kimball into the wall. That brought out a full course yellow, which ended up setting up for a restart. However, conditions were not ideal for a restart, and well, Will Power had some wheel spin in heading into the puddles on the front straight there after literally having just seen Joseph Newgarden almost bin it.
Damn near got
Will Power did
T-boned
the same thing. Yeah.
by Ryan
Damn near got
Hunter-Reay
T-boned by Ryan Hunter-Reay. Yes.
in the DHL Andretti Honda.
Honda. Yes. But that ended up Will Power's day in the inside wall, and after that, shortly the race went red flagged, and after briefly attempting to make a restart later on in the day, well, second red flag came out, and that was day 1 done for the IndyCar race there.
thankfully, during the night, the meteorological conditions changed.
You
Stopped raining.
You forgot something really important about Sunday.
Other than the rain, what was important
Memo
on
Gidley?
There has been some rain.
What about Memo Gidley?
He was in the IMSA Prototype Challenge race.
No.
Oh, I don't know where he.
No. It involves IndyCar and one of the drivers who had rain in their pants while being in their car.
Oh yes.
Hinch pissing himself.
Quote unquote rain. Yes.
Yes.
James Hinchcliffe finally succumbed to what every race driver endures, and that would be wetting himself while in the car.
Well, you gotta go.
Yeah.
Which is basically what he said in his wonderful NBC interview. Yeah.
Very openly.
Yeah.
So you gotta give him credit for that. Just
Yes.
straight out of Mannington that he pissed himself in a race car.
Yes.
Oh, come on, drivers do it all the time at Le Mans, in fairness.
Could you?
What I thought was quite funny though was the fact that he said, "I just needed 5 minutes," and literally as I did it, I got told to get out of the car. So yeah, that was.
Yeah. I couldn't imagine sitting in your own piss for a while and driving.
Well, he needed to wring out anyway, so it wasn't like he needed to do laundry. So,
I mean,
yeah.
not him, but like drivers at Le Mans, for example. I think it would just
you'll
be
fine.
it would be too distracting, having wet pants and still needing to perform.
Yeah, you'll dry out. It'll be fine.
It dries out eventually, but then again, it was so
It
wet.
dries eventually.
Yeah, just
Then
in
again,
time
it's
for
so
the
wet.
next guy.
Yeah, and it was so wet at Barber. I think all the drivers were on drip dry at the weekend.
But the rain had washed it away, so it's not that bad.
Yeah, he didn't need to bother doing the laundry.
Yeah.
Just stick a Tide Pod in the car and
Sit on it and wiggle your butt for a while.
Just sit on it.
yeah.
Anyway, moving past this talk, somehow we got on here. It was wet Sunday and washed out the race. Monday we came back expecting sunny clouds and wonderful weather conditions, and that lasted for about
50
a
minutes,
good
I think, or 40 minutes.
chunk of the race. Yeah, 45-ish minutes.
Yeah.
40-ish minutes of the timed race that was happening on Monday. And, well, Joseph Newgarden ran away from the field in the dry, and that was basically the story of the day, really, again, for day number 2.
Yeah, that and Gabby Chavez and Simon Pagenaud having a very sweary argument after the race.
Yes, more on that later. Yes.
Oh, way more on that later.
More on that later, yes. But Justin Newgarden ran away from the race. Ended up winning, so he dominates at Barber. He really likes his home track there at Barber. This is his 3rd win there.
I think so, yeah.
Yes,
First
because he won.
For Ed
He
Cock?
won for no, not Ed Carpenter. He won for
Oh, it was Sarah Fisher's team.
Sarah Fisher Hartman, yeah, or whatever the guys of that team was at that time. Wink Hartman Racing or Sarah Fisher Hartman Racing, whichever one. One first for Sarah Fisher and then one for last year with Team Penske. So he's got 3 wins at Barber now. And the basically story of the race behind Newgarden dominating was the coming of the rain. That's foreshadowed everything else really, which set up the nice dash to the end there with 1-stop and 2-stop strategies completely falling out the window because everyone went, "Oh, it's raining. We need rain tires." Well, everyone except Sebastian Bourdais.
Bourdais, yes, in the very, very safe OSHA-approved Delcoin Racing entry.
The Delcoin Racing with Vassar Sullivan entry. Yes.
Yes, and the OSHA-approved safety tape.
Livery. But you couldn't
Good
miss
for
him on a
visibility in the
dark
wet.
day. Yes, in the wet, you could definitely see him. Also, Simone Pagenaud's Menard's yellow car.
Yes, but then again, that's because Pagenaud's car is just fluorescent yellow, including his helmet.
Gotta match the car, man. Gotta match the car.
Damn right, yeah.
But getting back to it again, Bourdais came with about, what was it, 15 or so minutes left in the race? Actually, how long was it? Let me see here.
Bourdais pitted very late on. I think it was within the last 10 minutes, I think Bourdais pitted.
He pitted with, Newgarden was in with 14 minutes to go on lap 72 to take wets. That was when he came in. He had a 25-second gap to Bourdais at this point, but Bourdais stayed out, and he was 5 seconds faster on his slicks before the track ended up getting completely washed out, and he would have to come in with around, I think, 8 minutes or so, is when Bourdais and Dixon came into the pits.
Yeah, around that time.
So, around that time, yeah. But he gave it his best shot, and, well, we all know Dale Coyne is a gambler when it comes to wet races, so he's a genius, face it. He knows how to call his race strategies. And almost had it pay off. If someone had gone into the gravel, he would have been looking very pretty at that point, because he would have had a win. Very remarkable win from nowhere, basically, is what Dale Coyne was shooting for, but sadly it did not happen. So he had to come in with 8 minutes left and put on a set of wets, and, well, Newgarden came back to the front. So that was how that ended up, and Ryan Hunter-Reay finally had a good finish come his way.
About time.
About time, yes, in the number 28 DHL Honda for Andretti. James Hinchcliffe and Robert Wickens had their own inter-team battle at the end of the race, and Hinchcliffe emerged with the final podium spot, Robert Wickens fourth. So SPM once again showing their pace is not a fluke. They are a championship threat, and Lena Gate knows how to call some wet races. I mean, let's face it, Le Mans always has some sort of wet conditions, and
well, we just watched Truth in 24 or Truth in 24 too.
It always rains at Le Mans, really. Yeah.
Apart from 2005, where it was the exact opposite.
That was a complete anachronism. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, the SPM guys were third and fourth. Sebastian Bourdais recovered, though, so he finished in the top 5 and had a wonderful battle to the flag with Scott Dixon.
Oh, yeah.
Which was basically the thing to watch at the end there. Sebastian Bourdais barely pipped Scott Dixon to the line there, and Dixon actually admitted at the end of the race and when being interviewed, he would have gotten Bourdais had he realized his push-to-pass had not turned off at the final turn.
Oh,
oh no.
Yes. He would have totally gotten 5th, but he realized, oh, my push-to-pass is off. So yeah, that cost him about a 10th or 2, yeah. A fraction of an inch across the line.
It was super close.
But that was the finish for that. Graham Rahal and Takuma Sato for Rahal, Letterman, Lanigan salvaged 7th and 8th to end up good there. And Simone Pagenaud rounded out, Simone Pagenaud got into 10th place finish, or not 10th place finish, top 10 finish, 9th. So he didn't have that bad of a day. And Marco Andretti had a good day with the 10th. But Alexander Rossi finished 11th, and as a result, hands over the points lead back to Joseph Newgarden by 13 points. And we have a race for the title on our hands. Now we do, because, yes. So it's a battle of the Americans at the top of the title chase at the moment, as we head to the next race on May 12th. The Indy GP. So we will see what happens then.
On the road course, of course.
Yes, well, that starts out the month of May proper, and then, well, for 2 weeks after that, it's basically the Indianapolis 500.
Excuse
me, the 102nd running of the Indianapolis 500.
Oh, the second 102nd is very important.
It is very important because last year was 101st, but very important, like you just said, Penta. There's bumping for this Indianapolis 500. Proper bumping has returned, and I can't stress that enough. That's important. But
Very.
that was IndyCar, very, very important. And like Rob mentioned earlier, Simone Pagenaud and Gabby Chavez had a shouting match at the end. Very expletive-laced ranting there at the end.
Quite a few words beginning with F. Oh, are we allowed to quote some of the words, or probably not?
No.
Okay.
It's F, 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 and F. Yeah, basically.
F, 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 F. Get the F out of here. You effing effer, or probably something along the
Something
lines.
like
Wouldn't
that,
surprise me.
Neither one of them was very happy, no. But that's how that race ended up for them.
You mean fuck?
Damn it, Penta.
We're being responsible here, and you go and drop F-bombs. Ugh.
Yeah, think of the children. Come on.
Which ones? Oh. Well, I'm not gonna say what I was gonna say.
Maybe children listen to this podcast. I don't know. Gotta be clean. Come on, this is a family-friendly show.
Yeah, sorry. I'm always preaching family friendly, and then I drop F-bombs.
Yeah, I know. Being so irresponsible you are.
Yeah. Just imagine if we'd done an episode of this one time, just uncut. Unleashed.
Would never be making it to air. It would be 5 hours long.
Yes. It'd be 5 minutes.
Anyway.
Sound like Blink 182 song, Family Reunion.
Yeah, with you speaking, it will. Yeah, with the mouth of a sailor. But sticking with IndyCar, I have some good news to share other than the race results.
Do you?
Bumping?
Not bumping. I already mentioned bumping.
Yeah.
First, I need to mention someone in chat so he can come back and join us.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Please
yeah.
come back, Pigeon.
Pigeon, return to your nest.
Yes. Anyway, happy news from IndyCar that isn't results. It's crowd numbers.
Ooh.
Yes, crowd numbers, which coming off of last weekend's race at Long Beach, Bob McCallion, the Grand Prix of Long Beach chairman, reported the biggest attendance record since 2000 with the glory days of the IndyCar series, with more than 185,000 people turning up for the 3 days there.
Jesus.
Wow.
And that breaks the attendance record that they had last year, which was 183,000 people. So attendance is up in a good way for the IndyCar series at Long Beach, and long may that be the case. And also with good news, Barber Motorsports Park sent a new attendance record on Saturday of 34,240 fans. So they had a good attendance record there as well. And also with ticket sales being strong at Portland for their upcoming return there later on in the season. So IndyCar is looking great in terms of fan engagement and setting new records of ticket sales. In fact, Green Savory Racing Promotions, the guys who handle the Toronto and Mid-Ohio races, are looking after Portland. They reported a new single-day sales record for advanced ticket sales for Portland. So all's looking up for them in that regard. And speaking of Indianapolis, the other day, there is an open test scheduled for this coming Monday, April 30th. And at the end of the open test day, Joseph Newgarden and Team Penske will be the second driver and team pairing to test out the windscreen or the aero screen, whatever you want to call it, the safety deflector, whatever name you want to call that.
The better looking Halo.
That works too, but that version of their safety device will be tested at over 200 miles an hour around the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. So that will be the second oval that it tests at, and a different driver pairing and team pairing for that as well. So, that will be done, and all that left to be remained if that test goes well is a road course test, and then we can roll it out to more people. So, hopefully it goes well for them. With that,
Exactly.
Fingers crossed.
Yes, fingers crossed. Anyway, moving past that, we now go to WEC news, or WEC/Le Mans news that I have, and can you guess what that might be there, Rob?
Fernando Reese?
That's one of them, yes.
Okay, yes, he's not driving for Labra this year. He's been replaced by Julian Canal because the team lost a sponsor, and they needed someone with money.
Yes, per Fernando Reese's Instagram page, he and the team have parted ways, and basically what he said was a statement. Unfortunately, the team suffered a loss of an important sponsor, and the solution they found to fill this hole in their budget was to put a paying driver to replace me. I've become an expense, and they needed a new source of income, Simple as that. It's not a good situation for any of the involved, and we all just lose with this, and no one leaves unharmed. Basically. And then he said, good thing he has a Lamborghini program in International GT Open, and that's his focus entirely for the season. And also sticking with the news of Labra competition, they have a replacement driver for him at Spa so far. And that would be one Julian Canal, who returns to the team to complete its lineup of Romano Ricci and Erwin Creed.
Yes, both of whom are bronze-graded drivers, I think.
Well, yeah, they were the drivers that were paying to be there, and Julian Canal comes with some money as a good driver, so, hey, that all works out in the end, really.
Yeah, it works out alright.
Well, except for Fernando Reese, but whatever.
For everyone else, it works out alright.
I wouldn't feel too bad for the guy. He's still got a paying gig, so yeah.
Yeah.
Oliver Turvey has been signed to a driver lineup.
Manor?
No. Do it properly.
These days.
No, the team is called CEFC TRSM Racing.
Like I said, whatever manner are called these days. He's in the car alongside Charlie Robertson and Baby Brundle, Cookie Monster, I think.
No, he makes up the Oliver car, with that being Oliver Rowland and Alex Brundle.
I got the Baby Brundle bit. The Cookie Monster bit right, but forgot about Rowland. Yeah, because Charlie Robertson, thinking about it's in the car with Dean Stoneman and Leo Russell.
Hey, you got it right now. Yeah, there you go.
Yes. Yay!
Yay! So that completes CEFC TRSM Racing's lineup in their... I'm gonna say the name again, just because Zenta doesn't like it. He won't like this one either. The car that they'll be racing are the pair of, well, actually the only Genettas that exist, the G60 LTP1 Mechachrome.
Mechachrome.
Yes.
It's okay. The 8 is called. They want their film back.
Yeah. Bike Hollis have confirmed their lineup as well.
That would be
Dominic Kryhammer, Tom Dillman, and Ollie Webb.
Well, that's only for Spa and Le Mans, isn't it? That's not a full season lineup.
I think so, but I think Bike Hollis are planning on running a second car after Le Mans.
That's the plan, depending if they can get garage entry, but I think the WC might throw them a bone, considering they've supported them long enough. Yeah.
Long enough and worth 3 races last year, the only LMP1 privateer team. Although, having said that, the new Bike Hollis does look a darn sight more competitive, relatively, compared to the old one.
Well, apparently at Spa, they're coming with a new engine cover and everything else, so they're going to have a different looking car to what they were testing with as well, so the updates continue to come in. So,
it's going to be pretty tasty this year, I reckon.
Well, the Bike Hollis isn't a slow car. The bit that was lacking was their Nismo engine, that had issues sometimes, but they fixed that. They ran smoothly throughout the test and actually got more mileage there than they were anywhere else, sort of off-season test. So they look good. They are the second quickest car besides the BR1, I think. In testing.
Yeah, the SMP run BR1, which is, I think they still have. I think they're one of the BR1s is only running a 2-driver lineup as well, Vitaly Petrov and Mikhail Alushin.
Well, funny you mentioned that. Jensen Button might be the third driver alongside
Yes, I know.
However, that hasn't been confirmed. But if that is indeed confirmed in the case, then we have two ex-F1 world champions battling for overall win at Le Mans.
As someone who coulda, shoulda, woulda been an F1 world champion and is in fact a multiple IndyCar and Indy 500 champion in the LMP2 class.
Who would that be? Oh, Juan Pablo Montoya, yes, of course.
One thinks one will be aiming for P1 in not the LMP1 class, but the LMP2 class at the 24 Hours of Le Mans.
Le Mans? Well done. Anyway, that's that. Yes. Corvette Racing has announced its Le Mans driver lineups as well.
At this point, Forza was thinking, just shut the hell up, Rob.
Yeah, actually, I was trying to be nice about it, but since you bring that up, yeah. Anyway.
Oh, so it's such a sad
Racing
lineup for Corvette. I'm disappointed.
Corvette Racing continues consistency with 5 of the 6 drivers that used last year returning, and Mike Rockefeller replacing one Jordan Taylor in the 63.
No. Surely you mean Rodney Sandstorm?
Well, possibly, yes.
Or Fonzie's
dad.
Pet.
Fonzie's dad, yes.
Yeah, Fonzie's pet.
For those of you who don't know those references, do check out his Twitter. It's worth it.
Check out his Twitter. Just check out his social media in general. It is worth it.
It is worth your time, yes. But Mike Rockefeller replaces Jordan Taylor to make his return to Le Mans since since his last time being there in a factory Audi in 2012. And this also ends Taylor's starts at Le Mans at 6th. So
so far.
Well, so far. Well, yeah, so far. I don't think it'll be long before he comes back next year, possibly.
Hopefully.
Possibly. But anyway, the lineup complete there. The 63 has Jan Magnussen, Antonio Garcia, Mike Rockefeller, and the 64 has Tommy Miller, Oliver Gavin, and Marcel Bassler. So consistency for their endurance lineups and IMSA continue to Le Mans, so there'll be no changes there. There is a change, however, with the JMW Motorsport Ferrari. Taking on a bit of dead weight.
Dead weight?
As far as I'm concerned.
Polite in trying to say that Cooper McNeil's driving it.
Oh, well, I was trying to be nice, but since you said it that way, yes.
So rude.
Cooper McNeil brings a lot of cash with him in the form of WeatherTech money. But he lacks a bit on the driver department. I'll just put it that way.
He has money, that's all that matters.
When he's good, he's good. When he has a bad day, he's absolutely awful.
I think there are a few other drivers that can apply to as well.
Were you thinking
Crone?
of Tracy Crone? Yeah,
Yes,
I was going to say.
Crone.
Who, oddly enough, is also in the Le Mans field.
Oh. God,
Don't worry, though. He's in a Ferrari, so it's okay.
So
he's in a car that he can field. Oh, God. What would be funny is if both of them ended up in a collision somehow during the race. That would be absolutely hilarious.
Yeah, that would actually...
What would be actually funnier is if both of the WeatherTech cars collided with each other.
Don't jinx it.
That would be quite funny.
Oh, that would be one of the greatest sights.
It'd be exposure for WeatherTech in the worst way possible. Oh no, the WeatherTech cars have collided.
But surely any publicity is good publicity, though.
I thought that was the operative word, yeah.
Yeah.
But
See,
the
marketing
84...
exposure, just not how they were thinking of getting it.
Exactly. The 84 will be turned into the WeatherTech Ferrari. So Cooper McNeil and Jeff Siegel join Liam Griffin there, and the second WeatherTech car will be, of course, the Keating Motorsports Ferrari, run by Risi Competizione, which has Lucas Stoltz, Ben Keating, and Jeroen Bleekmolen.
Jeroen Bleekmolen, yeah.
Yes, except the Keating car will be red, so we'll get a different rendition of the WeatherTech logos there. Yes, indeed. Enough. Anyway, stop that. And now we transition from Le Mans to the homegrown series here in the US, which is IMSA. And plenty of news has broken over the week as well.
Has it?
With oh, clearly you haven't been paying attention, so I'll just bring you up to speed. The newly renamed Meyer Shank Racing will have a second Acura NSX GT3.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about now.
At their home race at Mid-Ohio, with the 86 continuing to have Catherine Legge and Alvaro Perez in it.
Hooray!
Hooray, indeed. So they will have their 86 being running at the home race for both Meyer Shank and also Acura, because the Mid-Ohio race will be the Acura Sports Car Challenge at Mid-Ohio. So, very homegrown race for everyone involved in that program there. However, the team is still looking for, if possible, different drivers to complete the season for that car.
Oh, you mean drivers with money?
Different drivers to complete the season with that car, yes. Hopefully Catherine Legge remains on board in that situation.
Yes.
I believe Catherine Legge and Alvaro Perez actually set third in GTD points, I think.
Oh, wow.
So hopefully they can find some cash quickly to keep them going. Because it'd be a shame to see them lose all that potential there. However, sticking with mid-engine sports cars, we go to the support series now of IMSA with the Lamborghini Super Trofeo North America.
Hold on, I was going to say, there is another bit of news. Right, Motorsports?
We'll get to that after I make my point.
Ah, okay, so...
now you're on the same wavelength as me.
Yes, I'll just shut up from now on. I know my place. In the corner.
Talking about Super Trofeo, we also forgot to talk about that.
Ah, yes. Well, since I brought up the IMSA news, then we'll segue back to that.
Yeah.
Thank you for reminding me.
You're welcome.
But the new effort in Super Trofeo sees precision. Fuck.
This is a family-friendly channel.
No, you already broke that by swearing earlier, so, you know.
So, right now, well...
All bets are off now. You've already said it.
Yeah, we can say it.
Precision Performance Motorsports. There, I said it.
Yes!
Yay! Inherit the inventory last season from DAC Racing. Stop clapping. Stop condescending me. We'll field DAC's Racing's X inventory from last season to fill the number 67 Super Trofeo Evo for Shea Holbrook and Martin Barkey.
Hey!
So Shea Holbrook returns for her first full season and that series. So it should be interesting to see how she goes. Very quick driver, Shea Holbrook. Who we've only seen her talents being applied in the Pirelli World Challenge for her own team. So should be interesting to see how she goes there.
Yay, female drivers.
Yay, exactly. Hopefully Ashley Freiberg finds a drive in Super Trofeo again this year. If not, someone in IMSA, please employ her. It's a tragedy seeing her on the sidelines. The most underrated driver in IMSA. Not being used.
One day.
One day, hopefully, yeah.
If Danica Patrick
Silver
made
driver
it,
as well.
she can
Well,
too.
she had lots of cash on her side.
Gotta play lottery then, I guess. Barnes is...
I don't know. Ashley Freiberg is a silver driver. Just, you know, she's a silver rated driver with talent. Employ her somewhere. Anyway, enough about my soapbox. I'll get off my soapbox now. Pensa brought up the Super Trofeo race from the weekend that had a close finish in race 1. I don't know what happened to race 2 because I never saw race 2.
Nope.
So.
Race 1 was the one to watch.
Okay, there we go. Oddly enough, it involved someone who won in the ELMS race 2 weeks ago, I think. Job van Uytert.
Yep. Van Uytert.
Van
Uytert. A very Dutch name there. Van Uytert. But that race ended strangely because lots of cars had some sort of engine management issue with the ECUs and caused them to stop all en masse just at the end of the front straight there coming into turn 1.
Sounds so like the joyousness that was watching Honda in Super GT at Okayama last year when they all conked out before the race started, apart from the Mugen car.
While the end of the race is one of the highlights, we really need to talk about what happened during the race.
Alright, then go on.
Which is no racing, because basically, you know, as you can imagine, I don't know how much it was, like over 40 cars with amateur drivers down Monza. It didn't end well. There was a lot of crashes. Like, a lot. At one point there was one... there was a push, I think, and one car was on the side, like off track, with a double yellow waved, and 2 cars collided and almost took out a marshal. So, yeah.
Gentlemen drivers, being the best. Yeah.
It was a wild race. It definitely was just unbelievable.
Yeah. If you're driving a car as potent as a Huracan Super Treo, and let's face it, I mean they were lapping quicker than what the GT3 cars were at Monza at the weekend. You'd expect them to know what 2 bloody yellow flags being waved meant.
Like I said, gentlemen drivers, yeah.
Gentlemen drivers, too much money, and
that actually does
zero
though bring up a good point though, because that I needed to make about the Super Trofeo series, and that's the regulation change this year that involves
well, effectively a nearly new car.
Well, you could use old cars and upgrade them with an upgrade kit, but that's not what I was getting at. So other than they do Super Trofeo Evo, what I was going to get at was that all Super Trofeo series now require 2 drivers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's a new regulation for this season. So that's why IMSA pairing in the IMSA series you'll see 2 driver pairings in every car now, as well, because they're conforming to the same regs. But moving back to that race, now we the finish was ending up, like I said, involved Job van Uytert in a drag race to the line with who was in that second car?
Good question.
I don't actually know that answer. All I know is it was a drag race to the end, and I think van Uytert won that drag race.
Yeah, I don't know. I was just too baffled by all the cars staying on the side of the track.
Yeah, like I mentioned, they had engine management issues, but
yeah, but there was
that was race 1 for the Super Series, and was pretty entertaining. So you guys should watch that if you have time.
Definitely.
But going back to the Americas, the final bit of instant news that Rob preempted a bit earlier was that the GTD grid is expanding yet again from Ohio and for the rest of the season, except for Watkins Glen and the season finale at Road Atlanta, and that is that Wright Motorsports will be running a second Porsche 911 not RSR. That's the GTLM car. Get it together. Porsche 911 GT3R for Michael Schein and ex-Porsche factory driver Wolf Hensler.
Yeah, das ist sehr gut.
Oddly enough, this is actually the first time Wolf Hensler returns to IMSA for a full season since the old Team Falcon Tire days.
Oh, in GTLM.
Yep.
Am I right in thinking this is his first race since he done Long Beach last year for TRG?
No, because this season he's primarily running the Sprint X races for Pfaff Motorsports in with Scott Hargrove.
Yeah, I was thinking in WeatherTech.
No, I don't know. Actually, I think this. You might be right on that one, possibly.
Don't recall seeing him in endurance in any of the races after.
No, I think he was at Daytona this season, wasn't he? In one of the cars.
No. Someone's going to tell us in the comments.
Pigeon will probably know, because it seems he knows all. We know nothing, but Pigeon knows all.
Yeah, Pigeon knows all.
All-knowing Pigeon.
The all-knowing Pigeon of stuff.
It was going so well.
Yes.
Seemed like we knew what we were doing, but no. Yeah, hang on, I'll tell you right now.
Do we know what we're doing?
Yeah, I was about to say, did it really?
And he wasn't paying attention.
Wow, the one time he's not paying attention. We rely on you, Pigeon. You don't even pay attention.
Yes,
anyway.
Yes, we are professional.
Hang on, I can tell you his last race he was in.
Oh, what was it?
That's what I said, hang on, Jesus. Now someone's not paying attention. Yeah, we're the utmost professionals. Thank you very much. We're the best.
We the best.
We the best. Let's see here. IMSA. He did 2 races in GTD. He also did one GTLM race, which was, like you mentioned, at Long Beach. Oh, actually, no, hang on. That was the GTLM race he did was Coda, filling in for one of the drivers there. 4, 9. So the last race he would have done in IMSA was the Coda race.
Oh, wow.
Actually. Yeah,
wow.
The RSR.
I did not know this.
Because Long Beach would have been before that. So, yeah, his last race in IMSA would be the last time they ran at Coda. So, wow, you were almost right there.
Oh.
Close,
so
but
nearly,
no cigar.
nearly there you were. Yep. So sad. Rob almost got something right.
Feels bad, man.
Oh, by myself.
Yeah.
What the hell happened to my voice just then?
No idea.
I mean, talking of family-friendly podcasts, I mean, surely that alone is worse than anything else, me singing.
Anyway. So that was the IMSA news, and that's the news I had written down in my notes here, because, like I mentioned in the top of the show, we were thinking about having a delve into the wonderful firestorm that was the Red Bull Global Rallycross, and the death of that series, and the birth of the America's Rallycross Championship. But
Orcs!
Or ARX, yeah, ARX.
That just sounds so death metal, that.
Arcs.
ARX. Yeah. As he kills his throat while saying it, so well done to Rob. We were thinking about doing that in today's show. However, we think it deems a standalone show to delve into the intricacies of all that's involved there. So look for a future episode of just the Red Bull Global Rallycross thing. So that's coming soon. When, we're not sure yet, because we still have to get all our ducks in a row first.
No, when is when I stop coughing after that?
Like I said, when we get all our ducks in a row. That'll be a standalone episode.
Yeah. I mean,
I
we
don't
can.
know if it will be live, but it'll be done.
Probably. To be fair, we could do it on a podcast, but then we're either limited by the amount of like news we do, or the amount like the whole segment would be. So it's better to make it like a separate thing.
Yeah. Also, being a sports journalism student, I will make sure that I have some form of the essential reading for any journalist, which is, of course, McNay's Essential Law for Journalists.
Ah, yes, that handy-dandy guide.
Yes, the handy-dandy guides, just in case we really end up in the shit.
Which will definitely happen, yeah.
Yes, because someone is going to say
I will be very careful not to say things.
Yes.
But then
However,
again,
Rob, on the other hand,
do people really watch this podcast?
No.
Or let me rephrase.
And it's just tempting fate. That is just tempting fate there.
Yeah.
Next episode, 20,000 views.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Then again, the series, the Global Rallycross series, have actually got Patrick Dempsey's former American Le Mans Series teammate as their legal representative.
We're not gonna. We'll delve into all the intricacies later, Rob. I can't stress to you enough that this needs some explanation that we don't have time for.
Don't have time for,
One of them
and at the moment
the
can't
legal
be asked.
intricacies. Yeah, that too. But the legal intricacies of the guy representing the Global Rallycross series is just amazing. So, yeah. That'll be a different thing entirely. But you have to mention to us, or to the dear listeners rather, what you just got in your mailbox the other day.
Oh yeah.
Virtual mailbox the other day.
Oh.
Yes. So recently, I've been called by Forza and Penta, the unofficial Formula E correspondent for the GTHub podcast, because of the fact that I write for a Formula E news website. Now, there's around this weekend in Paris, France, the Paris E-Prix, and I'm going to be travelling down on Friday morning, first thing. When I say first thing, I've got to be up at 2:45 in the morning to get sorted and get from the hotel to the train station.
Just stay up all night.
Yeah, that's actually what I'm going to probably end up doing at this rate. But yeah, I'm actually going to be heading down as an accredited journalist.
Yay!
Everyone insert applause.
Arigato.
Yes, one of us has finally become professional. Yeah, shocking.
I thought you were talking about what he actually got in his mailbox, and then I realized it's not that, and then I got sad.
That's what I said. That's what I said, virtual mailbox.
Yeah.
He got a package in the mail?
No, but at first he said package in your mail, and then he said like virtually, and I was like, oh damn it.
Well, then again, I did get a package in the mail this morning, which is, as Pigeon has just mentioned, the GTHub T-shirt that arrived from Teespring.
Yeah.
Ah, yes, well done. So, Penta, you were technically right on that front.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, Techna. So, what the if I try speaking English, that might help.
That's so funny now, isn't it? Yeah. I'll laugh at you now.
God damn it. Yeah. Basically, I'm heading to Paris, and yeah, it's gonna be pretty.
The death of
crazy.
us all. Rob is the professional journalist now. Yeah.
What?
Everyone
me?
run and hide.
Yeah. What? me professional?
Well, you're accredited, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
Halfway there, really. Halfway there.
It's gonna be It's gonna
and
be
if you don't get a ride in the Audi, you're not welcome back. Just saying.
Oh, where's that one finger emote salute in that middle finger emoji when you need it most?
But yeah, since you are now a actual journalist, please preview the upcoming
Formula E from Paris, yes. Formula E's back in Paris this year. It's going to be, it's actually one of the shorter circuits on the calendar. It's around Les Invalides. And it's an interesting circuit. There's not that many real long straights, as such as only really 2 straights of any length, really. I think the longest straight is about 486 meters, I saw earlier today, but it's going to be quite interesting. The one big driver change which we mentioned last week was Luca Filippi being replaced by Martin Hua at Neo. And yeah, it should be a pretty interesting race, especially given that I was looking at the long-range weather forecast for Paris earlier today.
And that would be?
That would be, I'm just double checking it now. Oh, it's changed its mind again. God's sake, Apple. Give me a reliable forecast, damn it. Yeah, basically it said it was going to be raining on Saturday when I looked at it this morning, but no.
That means it's never going to rain, because it never rains during a Formula E race. It's the opposite of a NASCAR race. If you want rain in your area, you schedule a NASCAR race. If you don't want it to rain, you schedule a Formula E.
If you are suffering a lack of rain, then yeah, seems like that could do it, maybe. But then again, it might not rain. We actually have no idea at the moment.
Well, to be fair, it's Tuesday.
Out, so yeah.
Yeah. And I, frankly, I'm not even gonna bother taking a coat with me.
Should have bought a GTHub sweater.
Now. Yeah.
But I've got my new PlayStation hoodie, in fairness.
Good, but not as good.
I've also got my black zip-up super dry hoodie as well, so I look even more.
The question is, do you have anything representing your aforementioned website you write for? Because if not, you're not being a proper journo.
I will be getting the press pass at the circuit when we're allowed to collect them on Friday morning.
That's alright, you don't need anything more than a GTHub t-shirt.
Hello, I'm here to collect my credentials, and you would be?
Yes. Nah, it's gonna be... No, I'm really, really looking forward to it, and... I'm just so bloody psyched at the moment.
I would be too, actually. If I got a GTHub t-shirt.
So you get to go to, yes, Penta's in love with the GTHub t-shirts. Yes. The rest of us are going, oh, he gets to go to Paris, yeah. Penta's just like, nope, GTHub t-shirt.
Yeah, but it's Paris, I don't care about Paris, it's a shitty town.
I'm going to Berlin and Zurich as well.
I was just going to ask if you were doing the other European rounds as well.
Yeah, I'm doing the other European rounds.
Berlin? Zurich?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Berlin, it's Tempelhof.
The best track on the schedule, the Tempelhof Airport circuit.
No, the former airport at Tempelhof.
What airport? The one that still isn't finished?
An airport, former airport, whatever. It's still got planes on it. Yeah, it's an airport.
It's actually quite funny because last year the Formula E race was actually on around the same time as the FA Cup final in the Fußball. Because what happens in Germany is they have the women's FA Cup final and the men's FA Cup final on the same day at, I believe, both are held at the Olympiastadion. So what they're doing this year is they've actually played around with the timings a little bit. So it's going to be the women's Deutsche Fußballbund Cup final in the Olympiastadion. On the other side of the city, Formula E after that, and then after that the men's Deutsche Fußballbund Cup final. Just to make it a bit easier on public transport, from what I've been told.
Interesting. Well, that's, we wish you luck, and,
Yeah, thank you. I will send you a photo as well to make sure that I had to show you that, yes, I
to make sure you've arrived in time, yes, and in perfect condition, yes, we expect the photo. We also, since you were actually physically there on the race, expect you to have good notes to report back on the race. I expect very detailed notes.
And at least put yourself in front with the GTHub t-shirt and a camera at least once.
Yes.
That's all I care about. I don't care about your notes.
It's going. No, I'm professional.
Try to walk down the pit lane, yeah. Get caught by the Formula E TV guys, yeah.
Hey, I did it too. Just without it.
When?
Well, not Formula E, but Blancpain.
Oh, Blancpain at Hungaroring last year.
Yeah.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah.
That would be funny, actually, just see Rob just on the camera. Just be like, hey, I know that lanky guy.
It's quite funny as well, because Berlin is E-Prix on the same weekend as the British touring cars at Thruxton. It's actually been the first time in 6 years I've not been to Thruxton.
I mean, it's just British touring cars.
Yeah.
It's British touring cars is a big deal motorsport-wise.
If you say so, I'm not much of a touring car person, so.
I quite like it.
I mean, British touring cars is just bumper cars, really. That's all it is.
All
Especially when you have
touring
Jason
cars
Plato in the
are.
field.
Jason Plato. Crikey, I think he was started racing in British touring cars like the year I was born in 1997.
All right.
Years ago.
Yeah.
Since time stood still, he's been racing a touring car.
That's still 6 years earlier than one of our members.
Yes.
Or 5 years.
Yes,
I don't
just
know.
one of them.
Yes. Would have actually missed out on the entire super touring era.
I actually did, so, yeah.
Which meant missed out on the joys of the Works Ford program in 2000.
Whatever that means.
Yeah,
exactly.
Basically, ProDrive, who were running the Fords that year.
Oh, what the heck? He popped into the chat.
He's just popped up. He's just popped up to mention, inevitably. But yeah, when ProDrive ran the Works Ford program in 2000 with the Mondeo V6s, they were spending £12 million a year on the free car program.
Why and how?
Because it's what happens when manufacturers get involved, and for the same amount of money, they could have actually ran a midfield Formula One team on the same budget as they were spending on their BTCC program when they won the title. That's how much money was being spent by the OEMs.
Well, in fairness, touring cars, F1.
In fact, the engine was actually so well developed that apparently ProDrive said that if it weren't for the rev limits of, I think it was a mere 9,000 RPM being imposed, they could have actually revved it to about 11 or 12,000, I think I remember reading.
Oh my god, nice.
Yeah, but this goes to
from
11.
2-litre V6 as well, yeah. You want those things up to 11. Crikey.
Very much I love Spinal Tap.
it was Spinal Tap in BTCC form.
I was hoping someone
Turn it
got
up
that.
to 11.
Yeah, pretty much. No, those were... technologically, it was a brilliant era.
Sounds like it. I've actually never seen a super touring car.
Oh, I want to see the old Because it's classic racing now here in the UK.
What, classic touring cars?
Yeah, the old Super Tourers have their own race series now, I think.
Of course they do. Of course they do.
Yeah.
Bringing
Next
it back
week
to the
on
present.
Two Old Gits, reminiscing about the glory days of the Super Touring era.
Yeah. Since we pretty much run dry on things to talk about, really.
Apparently there's a Formula 1 race this week. Hey?
Next.
Yep, next. Next, moving on. There is...
hang on. You forgot to mention where the F1 Grand Prix was being held.
It's held in... Azerbaijan!
Yes, where it doesn't belong. Now you can move on.
Okay, sure. There's World WTCR at the Hungaroring, BTCC from Donington, Formula E from Paris, NASCAR racing at
hang on. You're not being a very proper journalist. It's got a name, you know.
the Paris Prix.
No. The Qatar Airways Paris Prix. You need to learn to plug the sponsor names.
We won't get into reasons why I don't want to.
Lesson number 1: plug the sponsor.
It's also the Geico 500. Presumably, how many dented panels that's referring to from Talladega. It's the Qatar Airways Paris E-Prix, the FIM CEV Moto 3 Junior World Championship Round 1 from Estoril.
What?
You're just mentioning everything. Yeah.
Yes, I'm mentioning everything on racingcircuits.info and...
ADAC GT
right,
Masters from Autodrome Most important.
There you go, that's what I was going to say. Yes.
Most. Do they have the actual race reruns up on YouTube?
Yeah, it's YouTube.
I think so.
Yes,
Well,
yeah, I might have to catch the rerun of that because I quite like that circuit.
Yeah, you could still watch the first 2 races of the season from
Yep.
Sachsenring. So yeah, they have the YouTube.
Ausleben.
Sorry, Sachsenring's the last race. My bad.
Isn't it Hockenheim? I don't know.
Either one of them.
I still remember watching the ADAC TCR Championship a couple of years back when they had like 43 cars or something daft like that, trying to get through that 90-degree left-hander at the very start of the lap at Oschersleben, and no one crashed.
Well, they defused that
British
corner
GT
this year.
and Rockingham.
Oh, they did a couple of years back.
Well, they didn't last year. No, last year they still had the same one. This year it's like different.
Yeah, this year they used the original, more flowing, more open corner, which was still used for motorcycle racing actually, because the when they redesigned it, it would have actually been way too dangerous for the bike racers.
I wonder why.
But that's why they have to have a slightly less sharp version of the Rettifilo at Monza for World Superbikes.
And that's why they had the extra paving in the gravel there.
Yeah.
To which everyone went, "Oh, there's pavement in the gravel," and sort of, "Shut up! It's for the bikes."
Yeah, because I mean the gravel does slow the riders down a little bit more, I think, but
very violently.
Yeah, violently, like incredibly violently.
Violently, yeah. Like to see you get flung off into a sand pit. See you like it.
I'll tell you now, I wouldn't particularly like it that much at all, but...
Exactly. Anyway, there was the this Friday, like I mentioned, the Azerbaijan Grand Prix practice. Actually, no, I don't even know why I'm saying practice. Sunday is the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Also Sunday, like you said, the Qatar Airways Paris E-Prix. The Formula E actually is Saturday. My bad, not Sunday. and the Geico 500 from Talladega. There's the Xfinity Series on Saturday from Talladega. There's also the ARCA race from Friday from Talladega. So that's the one everyone wants to watch.
Yeah, yay for our car.
ARCA, yay!
ARCA, because what are brakes? Brakes?
Yeah.
I don't need them.
And Saturday and Sunday, GT Masters from Most.
Yes,
Yep.
and I think that covers our calendar roundup and
I thought this was meant to be
concludes
a
our
short
show for
episode.
today, actually. Well, it's short-ish.
1 hour and 35 minutes.
Told you it was short.
Oh, by the way, Sachsenring is the second to last race for GT Masters. Last one is Hockenheim.
Ha! I knew I got it in some order and fashion. It was at the end.
It's close.
I couldn't remember if it was last or penultimate round, but yeah.
Das ist
So-
sehr gut, ja.
Yeah,
Yeah.
whatever you say. Yeah.
Eine Wochenende was sehr gut, da?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is British GT this weekend as well? Someone
Apparently,
said,
yes, it's at Rockingham.
Right, okay. Well, if that's on YouTube, I might as well watch that as well. So,
Yes.
cool. Well, that's and hope you enjoyed our very shortened episode today because we got started a bit late. But hopefully that's a more
That was
enjoyable
not
way
my
for you.
fault.
It was totally your fault.
To be fairness, great English. To be fair,
To be fairness, yeah, now you can't speak English.
In
There,
fairness-
the trifecta now.
well, that I couldn't speak English was already known.
Anyway,
It was
your
my
point
soup.
is-
I had to
Yeah.
eat my soup.
oh yes, your soup was so important.
Yes, your French onion soup.
Exactly.
Yes.
It's even worse. French onions.
No, it's good.
Yes. And if you would like
enough
to
food
present-
rambling.
And if you do speak English and would like to present this podcast, please do let us know because we clearly can't. I don't think.
No, we can't. Please, Pigeon, save us from ourselves.
Ja,
Yeah.
bitte.
Yeah.
Bitteschön.
All right. Anyway, good night, guys.
Au
Bye.
revoir.
Thank you for watching.
Bye.
Bye.